Hello 9th standard students, very good morning to you and welcome to this grammar lesson where today we're going to be talking about an important part of speech which is new for you, which are the adjectives. Okay, they are called these adjectives. I've divided this into two parts for you. This is the first part where we're going to be talking about the gender of adjectives. Okay, so adjectives are important because they not only add color and meaning to your work, okay, whatever written work you produce, they also add depth. Okay, so let's begin with our new topic for today. This is adjectives part 1 for the 9th standards. So in English, adjectives do not depend on the nouns that they describe. Okay, let's get the difference between the adjectives in English and French. Okay, so in English, when we're talking about any noun, okay, so we're talking about a book, make it plural books. We're talking about a table, make it tables. The adjective we're talking about will not change. Okay, the adjective will continue to remain green. This, my point here is that each adjective has only one form. Okay, in English, no matter what you're talking about. Whereas in French, the adjective will change based on the number and the gender of the noun. So if you're talking about a book that is masculine, le livre, the adjective that is ver in this case will change. Okay, whereas it's different when you make it plural. Les livres, the adjective has changed. When you're talking about something feminine, the adjective has changed. And when it's feminine plural, the adjective changes again. Okay, this is why it is important for us to know. First thing we need to know is how to change the gender. Okay, how to change the gender from masculine to feminine and vice versa. Second thing we'll have to know is how to change the number, okay, from singular to plural. And the third thing, which is the third and the most important aspect in fact of adjectives, is the placement. Okay, whether you place it before the noun or after the noun. So let's go step by step. In this part, I'm only going to take up the gender of nouns. So this is the first rule. Okay, rule number 1 for changing masculine to feminine adjectives. If the masculine adjective is already not ending with E, okay, if it's not ending with E, then in order to make it feminine, you just have to add an extra E. So America, which is masculine for American, will become American in the feminine by just adding an extra E. Then content, okay, which is happy or content, will become contente in the feminine by adding an extra E. Grand, which is large or tall, okay, it's also tall. Okay, grand ends with a D, so we can make it feminine simply by adding an extra E. It'll become grande. Then, if you want to say heavy, it is lourd, okay, masculine. To make it feminine, we just have to add an extra E. We mix it lourd. So the first rule of changing the gender of adjectives is simply add an extra E if the last letter is not already E. Okay. Now, the second rule, what if the last letter is already E? In that case, all that you need to do is keep the adjective as it is. If the last letter is already E, it does not change in the feminine. Okay, this is the simplest rule. Whenever you see that the masculine adjective is already ending with E, it remains as it is in the feminine. So facile, which is easy, remains facile because it ends with E. Propre, which is clean, ends with E in the masculine, so it remains the same in the feminine. The opposite of propre, which is sale, dirty, remains the same in the feminine, sale, because it ends with an E in the masculine. Then triste, which is sad, ends with an E in the masculine, therefore it also ends with an E in the feminine. Okay, so when the adjective ends with E, we don't change it in the feminine. Let's look at the next rule now. Okay. Now, when you have a masculine adjective that ends with EUX, you have to be careful because if it ends with EUX in the masculine, it becomes EUSE in the feminine. Okay, so let's look at some examples. Which is happy, becomes, you have to cancel the EUX and make it EUSE. becomes res. Okay, and the feminine, same way. Dungere in the masculine, cancel the EUX, make it EUSC, will become dungeres. Okay, furia, which is angry or furious, EUX cancels, becomes EUSC, furious in the feminine. Paresseux, which is lazy. Okay, again EUX you have to cancel and make it EUSC, paresseuse in the feminine. So adjectives which end with EUX in the masculine, change the ending to EUSC in the feminine. Now, if the masculine adjective ends with an F, the F has to transform into VE in the feminine. So active becomes active, okay, active, active in the feminine. Attentif, cancel the F, make it VE, will become attentive in the feminine. Imaginatif, cancel F, become VE in the feminine. Imaginative, okay, imaginative. Another example is creative, okay, creative will become creative in the feminine. Cancel F and make it VE. Okay, so F, masculine adjectives ending with F become VE in the feminine. Okay, now masculine adjectives which end with ER, be careful. You have to add an extra E and also put an accent on the first E. Okay, so it's not only the addition of the E, it is also the extra accent on the first E. So dernier, which is last, okay, or final, will become dernière with the E accent on the first one and the additional E. Entier, which means entire or whole, okay, ends with ER, becomes ERE with an accent on the first T, entier. Fier, which is proud, becomes fier in the feminine, accent on the first T, and an extra E at the end. So masculine adjectives which end with ER will become ERE, accent on the first T in the feminine. Okay. Now there are certain adjectives which end like this. You have a vowel and then a consonant. For such adjectives, you have to double the consonant and then put E. Okay. So for bon is an example, vowel consonant. So you double the N and put E. Bon, bon. Okay, good. Then ba is vowel consonant. So you double the consonant and put E. It will become bas. Bas is low. Okay, when you're talking about volume, it is soft. When talking about height, it is low. Ba, bas in the feminine. Gentil is kind. Okay, vowel consonant. So you double the consonant and you put E. Gentil, gentil, which is kind. Okay, gentil in the masculine, L, feminine will be LL, E. Now, as always, there will be certain exceptions. So these are the exceptions, the 10 exceptions to adjectives that you need to learn. They don't follow any of the prescribed rules above. So sec becomes sesh. Sec becomes sesh, which means dry. Okay. Doux becomes douce, which means sweet. Public becomes public, which is, as it is in English, it is public. Okay, this C has to become QUE here. It's a complete exception. Blanc, which is white, as you know, becomes blanche. Okay, you have to add HE. Long, same thing in English, long. Okay, long in the masculine, you have to add UE in the feminine. Frais, which is fresh. Okay, frais becomes fresh in the feminine. CHE plus you have this extra accent on the I. Favori, which is favorite, okay, becomes favorite in the feminine. I has to become ITE, exception. Faux, which is false, has to become fausse, FAUSSE, which is the feminine of false. Complet, which is complete, becomes complete. You are adding an ES, but the exception is that you also have to put an accent on the previous E. Okay. Secret is secret, becomes secret. Same thing. You are adding an extra E at the end, and you also have to put an accent on the first E. Now, the last thing in this part is the 3 most exceptional adjectives in French, because they not only have a masculine and feminine, they also have 2 variations of the masculine. Okay, the masculine is divided into 2 parts and you have only 1 feminine. So the two parts is when the masculine noun starts with a vowel and when the masculine noun starts with a consonant. There are two variations of these three adjectives. So the first one is bow. Okay, in front of a masculine consonant it is bow. In front of a masculine vowel, however, it becomes bell, B-E-L. Okay, and in front of a feminine noun, no matter what the starting letters, becomes belle, B-E-L-L-E. Belle means either beautiful or handsome, depending on the context. So, un beau garçon, because this is a consonant, masculine. Un bel homme, masculine but starting with a vowel. And finally, une belle femme. Okay, feminine. Then the second exceptional one which you have to talk about is wir. Okay, wir is old. Okay, old. So wir in front of a masculine consonant is wir. Okay, so wir film, masculine starting with a consonant. In front of a masculine starting with a vowel, we don't say wir, we say va. Okay, V-I-E-I-L, va. Okay, so vi masculine starting with a consonant. And finally, for feminine, doesn't matter what it starts with, it becomes va but with an L-L-E. In front of a masculine noun starting with a consonant, nouveau remains nouveau. So film, masculine consonant, un nouveau film. Now masculine starting with the vowel. Okay, nouveau has to change into nouvelle with a single L. Just like beau changed to belle, nouveau also has to change into nouvelle in front of a masculine starting with a vowel. So un nouvel ordinateur. And finally, for a feminine noun, no matter what it starts with, feminine noun, okay, it will become une nouvelle with a double L. Just like beau became belle, nouveau also becomes nouvelle. Okay. So with that, we finish this first part of the explanation of adjectives to you. I'll be back soon with the second part where we'll cover the number, that is conversion from singular to plural, as well as the placement of the adjectives with respect to the nouns. Till I meet you again, thank you very much. Take care.